Welcome to Orphan Espresso. I'm Barb.
And I'm Doug.
And today I'm going to show you how to install the wiring harness for a Model 67 Cremina. This is what you get when you purchase one from us. It comes with all the wires labeled, the terminals labeled. It comes with a plug-in chart in case you lose any of the labels. You can figure out which wire is which.
And do you have gremlins making this, or do you make it yourself?
No, I make it myself, actually.
Oh, okay.
This is the old wiring harness, and I labeled this because we're going to put it back on the machine when we're all done with this. It's in real good shape. There's no burn spots or melted terminals or problems with it, so there's no reason to throw it away. Just a note, when you're removing the old wiring harness, you may need to use a small screwdriver to pry between the terminal end and the terminal that you're unplugging it from. Sometimes they can be really, really tight. Okay, so first let's take a tour of the components that you're going to be plugging this wiring harness into. There's a couple of things we don't include that are at the beginning of the machine, so to speak. The power cord, which goes through the frame. It has a ground wire that attaches to the frame down here. There's two wires that go to the terminal block. From the terminal block, there's two wires that go up to the cold side of the switch. Now, this is an original ceramic switch. It's irreplaceable. So if this is what you have, when you go to unplug, be very careful because there is no replacement for it. You have to go to a completely different modern switch that doesn't fit the hole anymore. So be careful. We start here. The pilot light is right here. Has two terminals on it. This switch. In this case, there are 4 prongs. You will be using one on each side, and it doesn't matter which one. Then we come around here. The P-stat. The P-stat is here. You'll be plugging the harness in to the micro switch that's on the bottom down here. It has 3 prongs, and you're going to use the outside ones. The one in the middle you don't use that. Then on the bottom of the machine, we have the terminal, the thermal safety switch here, and there's different types of this, but they all have 2 prongs, and the element terminals.
Seems pretty simple.
It is actually a really, really simple machine, well built. Okay, on the wiring harness, you'll notice on one end is the pilot light and the on-off switch. The rest of this all plugs in at the bottom of the machine. So we're going to thread this through here. There's a little space. I don't want to tear off any of my labels.
There's a lot of little spaces on it from
there.
Most of special
yes.
machines.
Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to start with the pilot light on this side.
So you
I put my finger underneath the pilot light to hold it in place while I push the terminal on, and I want to make sure it's firmly on there.
So you just follow the labels and
just plug it in.
So you don't have to know anything about electricity or anything else? Huh?
Nope. You just have to be patient and persistent and plug it in the right spot. There we go.
So it doesn't matter which one of those you plug in?
No, it doesn't. Okay, we have on-off switch. We have 2. This one has 2 wires that come into it, so it's a little stiffer to get down there. I'm going to put it on the outside, firmly on. This one is here. So now we're all done at that spot. We come down here to the bottom. And my label slid. This is the thermal safety switch and the element. So I'm going to do the element first. Actually, come in on this side of it. I have to get it lined up. And I want to make sure that I get that on there firmly. And sometimes they're a little bit difficult. If you turn it to the other side, sometimes they're easier to get on.
Yeah,
one side will be...
That's one of those tight spots that you're dealing with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Suppose you could use a needle nose or something like that.
Well, you can, but I kind of always hesitate. This one is just really a stinker.
Obviously,
there.
There it goes. I heard it click.
And boy, you know, when it slides on, it feels nice. Our blue goes here on the element. That one goes on nicely. Now we have the thermal switch and the other thermal switch. Kind of want those to that one's on all the way. And there's our thermal switch here. And the last two are the P-stat. And this one's a stinker.
Okay, so let me pause you there for a second. So now you've got your wires are coming from the power switch, and you've got power to
we go from the terminal block up to the switch, from the switch to the pilot light, from the pilot light down to the element.
Yeah, but basically it's the power switch is going directly to the thermal safety switch first.
Yes.
Okay, so if you have an overheat problem, it just turns the whole thing off, like
Correct.
way back in the circuit.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now these two,
So you thread
the two P-stat, they go up in here, and one of the P-stats, and I know that when Doug does this back in the day, he always took the P-stat off and did it on the bench. But you don't, and then put the P-stat back on. I need to turn it a little bit so I can see where that is.
That's because he wasn't getting paid by the hour. If he was getting paid by the hour to do it, you know, I'd do it this way.
Make sure that's on there.
And once
the
again,
other
doesn't
one,
matter which one you
as
put
on, in this case, it does. You want it on the two outside
to
prongs.
inside prongs. But otherwise,
Otherwise,
the wire
no.
doesn't care.
And that one went on nicely. And so we're all done. I'm going to tuck this wire in here. I'm going to take this and bend it down slightly so that it stays nice and flat in there.
So you're just housekeeping
I'm
now.
just housekeeping, just making sure everything's neat. Making sure that one that I had trouble with is on. And we're done.
Looks nice.
So we're nicely rewired. Thank you.
Thank you.